Hello everyone, welcome to our last tutorial for Lab 4. This time we're just going to be looking at how to make some of these plots for the homework in Google Sheets. So unfortunately, in contrast to how easy it was to transfer over our t-test calculations from Excel to Google Sheets, transferring over the plots is a lot more complex, and the way that we go about doing these plots in Google Sheets is a lot more convoluted than how simple it was in Excel. But hopefully, by making this video, it makes it a little bit more clear to you guys, and it's something that you guys can follow along with as you're doing these plots. But again, if at any point you're confused or like you watch the whole thing multiple times and are still confused, just shoot me an email and I will provide all the help that I can. So obviously, first step is to make sure we have these tables in our sheets like we want, right? So I basically copied this over from um, from Excel, right? In that Excel spreadsheet that I gave you guys, if you look in the fourth sheet, it's called plots. You should see these three tables, and basically just copy and paste them over, right? And we're going to fill them in the same manner. I've got one pre-filled here for you guys to work with, and I'm mostly going to be doing a quick example as well. But for the moment, let's focus on what's down here at the bottom. So you see here that we have this kind of weird data structure, right? But we want to make sure that we have this kind of set up before we do anything, because we're going to be using this as this is actually going to be what goes into our plots, right? So each of these, you can see I have this replicated 3 times, right? Once for each of the components that we're doing. And basically each of these tables has 3 rows representing our 3 treatments, right? So treatment 1, treatment 2, and treatment 3. And then 6 different columns representing the 6 different means that we have for our different morphs. Once we get to the point where we're filling this in, I'll show you guys how we're supposed to fill this in. But basically, you want to do it like diagonally. But first, to start off by showing how to fill in these actual normal tables, the tables that we bring over from Excel. Say we're working with number of flowers, and we're starting off with treatment 1, of course, right? So let's go to sheet 1 where we have our treatment 1 means. We select our number of flower means, right? We do a command copy. We go back to our sheet where we have our plots, our plotting table set up. We do a paste special, and again, we only want to paste the values and not the formula, right? So paste special, values only. We do the same thing for our standard error. So if we do the same thing, of course, paste special, values only, we select the whole thing, and then we go over and we get it into our actual table. What we're going to be doing here is paste special. Instead of using the values only, now we want to use the transpose to get it from being oriented vertically to horizontally. So there you go. Basically do that for treatment 2 and treatment 3 for your number of flowers, and of course do the same thing again for your third component, right? Number of leaves. Okay, now to actually get into how to do these plots. It's like I said, very, very different from how we would do this in Excel, but there's certain things about the way that Google Sheets makes plots that forces us to do it this way. Specifically, it doesn't let you have like standard errors for each unique standard errors for each of your points on like a scatter plot. So what it forces us to do basically is have each of these points be represented as a different series. I'll show you what what that means in just a little bit. So first step is to fill in these tables that we have at the bottom, right? So we start with our treatment 1 green mean. We put that at the treatment 1 value. We then move on to our next value, or treatment 2 green mean, and we move 1 diagonally over like this, and we paste that there. Same thing for our treatment 3 green value. And then for our yellow green, we want to start again from the top. So again from treatment 1, our yellow green treatment 1 mean, same thing, right? And then once again, we're just moving diagonally across the table, just like this. And then once we get to the bottom, this is what it should look like, and this is what we're going to be making our plot with. You want to select all of your cells in that table, so it should be 3 by about, or I should say 4 by about 7. 4 by 7 is the number of cells you want to select. We go to insert, of course, and we bring in our chart. So it gives us a column chart, which is obviously not what we want. We want a scatter plot, right? So that is our scatter plot now. You can see that it does it a little bit weirdly because it's got like these different treatment values, right? Because it's treating each point as like a separate series essentially. So first thing we want is we're going to want to delete that legend because that's not relevant to what we're doing. And then for each point, we want to check which series it actually belongs to. So for our treatment one, we have 2 points here, right? Obviously, we have a green point that's at about 10.88. So this is our yellow green. And then we have our blue point here, colored blue, I should say. That's at 15, just above 15, which is our green mean for this. So let's start first by doing all of our green values. If we go to our series, right? We open up the chart editor in Google Sheets and we go to series. We don't want to apply to all series. So let's start by with treatment one. We're doing all of the points here that correspond with our green morph means right now, right? And what we're doing is we're adding in our standard error bars. So we select our treatment one, which is that first treatment one green value. We do want error bars, but we don't want a percent. We want it to be constant. And the value that we want, we take that from our standard error green column, right? So that's 2.19. Let's enter that in. And once we do that, it's going to do it properly for us, right? Then we move on to treatment two. And we see that our green value for treatment two, or green mean, is 19.45. That is this red point here, right? So once we select that, well, I guess we don't actually have to select it. We just need to go to our chart editor again, select the series we're working with. This time it's treatment two, right? The red one. And the first thing we're going to want to do is change the color of that so that it matches the treatment one green point. So it's blue in this case, the one that we have error bars for right now. And so we're going to change that to being blue as well. This way we can kind of like represent everything as being two series, even though each point is being treated as like its own series essentially. But again, we do the same thing. We do our error bars, we select constant error bars because that's what we want. And then we put in our standard error our standard error for our green means for our green morphs for treatment two, which is 1.62, right? So let's put that in. And then we would do the very, very same thing for treatment. In this case, if we look at treatment three, our green mean is 4.7. So that's this yellow point, right? So treatment three, we would again change the color so that it's the same as the rest of the green means that we have error bars for right now. And again, we would add error bars. We want those to be constant. And then we're going to say, we're going to look to our table, and it says that the standard error green for treatment three is 0.58. So let's put that in. And again, the whole reason we're doing this is because Google Sheets does not let you have variable standard variable error bars for series that have multiple points, right? So the only way we can get around this is by treating everything as its own series and then kind of manipulating the way that the current colors are oriented so that it looks like it's only two series. So now moving on to our yellow-green means. Our first one is treatment one, right? So our treatment one yellow-green mean. We're going to want to change this to a different color since we're talking about a yellow line, or I guess yellow-green. I'm going to pick the most yellow-green. None of these are really yellow-green, so let's just do yellow. All right, so we have a yellow point. Again, we're going to add our error bars. We're going to want constant error bars this time. And for our values, we're doing the treatment one standard error for yellow-green. So that's 1.98, right? We enter that in. We do the same thing for our orange point, which is our treatment two value for the yellow-green morph. Again, we change this color so that it's the same as the treatment one color for yellow-green. We add our error bars, we refer to our table, right? Constant again, and then we say 1.6 2, I think it is what it is. Not 162, but 1.62. Okay, and our last one here, this has taken a little bit, but I promise we're almost there. Hang in, just bear with me a little bit. Okay, so again, we change the color so that they're saying we add our error bars. We add constant. We say that we want them to be constant, then we put in the actual value. So that's 2.57. Again, 2.57 for our treatment 3 standard error yellow green, right? So that's where we get that value from. So this looks pretty good right now. Everything is kind of oriented, but again, because we don't have a legend, we don't know which of these series is belonging to which of these supposed series belongs to the green morph and yellow morph. So we do that pretty simply by adding a chart subtitle where we can specify blue, or I should say green, not ren, green. Green morph, blue. Why is it doing this to me? And then yellow, morph, yellow. Okay, so that's done, and now we have kind of basically a legend, right? This is really the best that we can do because, like I said a couple times by now, Google Sheets, for some reason that I cannot comprehend, does not allow you to have variable error bars for points belonging to the same series. Hopefully you guys have been able to follow along with this okay so far. I know it's a very like weird and convoluted process, but once again, if you still don't understand and you feel like you're struggling with this, please send me an email and we will walk through this like step by step so that you guys are able to make the plots that you need. I hope you guys find this useful, and again, shoot me an email if you guys have any questions.